Hello tarot readers, today I have a small video on the good, the bad and the ugly about being a tarot reader. I've been a tarot reader for absolute decades, way too many decades without giving away my age, and I can tell you I've seen every side of tarot. So I'm going to start with the good. Of course, as a tarot reader you may have a completely different list, and let me know in the comments below if I've missed something out. But the number one thing about tarot reading that I love in the good list is to be able to help others. I love to be able to serve others, and the tarot is an amazing tool to be able to reach other people and to be able to serve and help. With the tarot, I've been able to shed guidance, shed some focus, shed some light onto people's issues and problems over the years. That has made a difference, and to be able to give that help through the tarot is very, very fulfilling. The number two thing on my list is to be able to meet the most amazing people. I've met some incredible people over the years from all different parts of the world thanks to the tarot. This industry has not only been able to bring me the clients with the vibe that's in my vibe, and people who I've laughed with and cried with and made friendships with. Some of them are even my best friends. But even in the tarot business, there's some tarot communities where you can really find people that are in your vibe, and I've been able to work with other tarot readers over the years and made great friendships with other tarot readers, and we've had a laugh, and we've shared through some amazing experiences, and I'm really proud of that kind of feeling in the tarot industry that I've been able to pick up over the years. The third thing is self-help. I'm able to help myself with the tarot. Now, I don't like to give my readings all the time to myself. I'm not one of those tarot readers who are always looking in the cards to see what's happening, but I do like to do the tarot in other ways for self-help. For example, if I have got a huge dilemma or a huge problem, or there's something that I've got that I'm 90% sure about, of course for me my number one go-to is always spirit. I always ask spirit for guidance, but I do like to pull a card as well for that extra confirmation. So tarot to me can be that extra confirmation to go from A to B, or to decide between A or B. Having that confirmation really helps me. I also use tarot in manifestation. If I'm ever doing any kind of spells, if I'm using candle work or any kind of spell work, I do like to pull a tarot card and have that on the table and really manifest what I'm seeing in the card. And the number one way that I use tarot to help myself is in my business. So because I'm a tarot reader and I do run a tarot school and I do have a tarot business, obviously I'm going to use the tarot cards to help me. And I don't know if you've seen the video that I have on how to use the tarot for your social media, but that's one of the number one ways that I use the tarot for self-help in my business, well, for help in my business, is to pull a card and give me some inspiration for my social media and for things to write about, etc. So using the tarot in my business is a really important tool for me. The other thing I love about the tarot is the ability it gives us to create a business that we love. As a tarot reader, I run a spiritual business, and over the years that's evolved and evolved and evolved, and I absolutely love my business. And I've gone from being a tarot reader who absolutely loved my tarot readings, where I was doing it sometimes on its own, other times I was combining it with other jobs that I had, and I've just kind of always been a tarot reader. Always, no matter what I've done, I've always had the tarot there. And that's then evolved into doing courses, and then I opened a tarot school, and then I opened my coaching, and now I've got my coaching sessions, and it's really evolved over the decades, but it's given me opportunities that very few businesses would have been able to give me. One, I can work with my passion. Two, I can reach the people I love to work with. Three, I can work with other tarot readers and like-minded people. And I've been able to create a business which I work on my timetable, and a business that I love. So it gives you that business opportunity if you're really serious about the tarot. The opportunities are endless. We can reach people from around the world. There's no limit. There's never enough tarot readers. There's always more and more clients, and you can just reach people nowadays. It's one of the best times ever to be able to work in the tarot industry. So that's another great thing on its side. Now let's go to the negative, the bad things about being a tarot reader. The number one thing that I don't like about being a tarot reader is how we're always devalued. It doesn't matter how successful I am, and if my business was any other business that wasn't a spiritual business and it didn't focus on tarot, a lot of people would be saying how successful I am and applauding me and say, wow, wow, wow. But because it's a spiritual business focused on tarot, it's a lot of the time, oh, it's only tarot. She's only a tarot reader. And my success is completely devalued a lot of the times. And I find that happens in all countries as well. So it's not just like one country. It just seems that tarot readers are not valued. The second thing I don't like so much about being a tarot reader is how lonely this road can be. Now, I've already said how amazing we can meet amazing people, and in the tarot industry we can even meet amazing friends, but at the same time it can be very, very lonely. No two tarot readers are the same, so sometimes if I'm going through something, I literally have nobody who's going through the same thing or have gone through the same thing to talk about, which is why I became a tarot coach. It took me years to be able to have that experience to become a coach, but literally now I've kind of lived everything several times over in the tarot industry. But it can be a very, very lonely road. So yeah, we meet great people, but yeah, it can be very lonely. There's a lot of isolation. We're isolated because we're tarot readers, but then we're also isolated because we're tarot readers. The other thing I don't like about being a tarot reader is how there's no black and white. Everything just seems to be the colour that the tarot reader has to add in there. So for example, there is no one card that says he loves you. There isn't one card that says that, you know, well, which is the card that tells me he's madly in love with me? There isn't one card. It always depends. It depends on the reading. It depends on the cards next to it. It depends what comes out. It depends on the spread. It depends on the context, etc., etc. There's no one card that will say Friday night it's going to happen. There doesn't seem to be a one card. Each card has so many different reflections, and a lot of people will say to me, well, can you tell me which card tells me that you know, I'm going to sign for the house on Tuesday morning? I'm like, well, it doesn't just work like that. There's not one card, but there's 78 cards. Why is there not one card that tells me? No, it depends, it depends, it depends. So that's the one thing, not having any black and white and having to add our own colour. It's one thing I don't really, you know, it's not that I don't like it about the tarot, but it's one of those uncomfortable things where people say, well, what's the card that means this? I'm like, well, it doesn't just mean that, and it just depends, blah, blah, blah. The other thing I don't like about the tarot is the never-ending studies. It's just, I could have been a doctor by now. I could have been an astronaut by now. The amount of studies I've put into the tarot over the decades is just unbelievable. I've always been in the middle of a course. I've always been starting another course. I've always been ending one course. I've done nothing but read books and studied, and hours and hours of coursework. And it is never ending. There's no final exam. It's like just when you think you know something, then you get thrown these new ideas, this new door opens, and you're studying even more advanced and even more meanings and even more interpretations. So there is no end to the studying. I think, you know, the day I die, I'm probably still going to be studying tarot. So even though I'm a tarot teacher and I run my own tarot school, I'm still learning constantly. Every time I do a reading, I'm learning. The studying is never ending studying. And the last thing also goes in with what's good. Remember, in the good, one of the great things I loved about tarot is the ability to create your own business, a business you love, and that business can be really successful and you can earn a lot of money in the tarot. But also the downside of that is how hard it can be at the beginning. You may find as a tarot reader the first year or even 2 years or longer, you may be working 14 hours a day and getting quite really unstable financial benefits from that. So, you know, one week you may earn a lot of money, the next week you may earn no money, you may go up and down like a yo-yo, you may be working 14 hours to get that one reading booked. At the beginning it can be really, really hard, especially if you don't have a coach or you don't have somebody to show you the steps. I did everything myself, everything. I had nobody show me which was the way, and I had no business idea whatsoever. I knew I was a great tarot reader. I knew I was a great medium, but I had no business knowledge and I had no spiritual business knowledge. So it took me years to be able to create the path that I'm on now. And that's the one downside. I see a lot of tarot readers, brilliant tarot readers, who are really, really struggling to be able to get that business, you know, really with the startup going. So I think that's the bad side of it. The spiritual business knowledge is something that does come with experience, and I coach that now because of that reason. It's really, really hard for a lot of tarot readers at the beginning. The other thing is, you know, it can be exhausting. Tarot can be, it can fulfill you and give you energy, or it can drain you. That depends on you as a reader. But when you're trying to get your clients and you're trying to build up a business, and at the same time you've got all studies going on because it's never-ending learning, and you can be very lonely, it can be exhausting and it can create burnout. Also, in the tarot business, it is normally a one-man show. Until you get to another level, it can be definitely a one-man show on every level. You know, I'm a tarot reader and a medium, and then suddenly I'm learning graphic designs, and I'm learning how to do websites, and then I'm learning how to do publicity, and I'm learning how to do accounting and how to set up business banking, and all these things that you don't really think about when you start the business. You're just thinking of what you can do as the tarot reader. And when you get to doing the business side of it, it can be an absolute nightmare. And of course, paying other people to do that can cost a lot of money. So at the beginning, we tend to do it ourselves. And if you combine that with another job, or you have children, or both, it can be, you need to learn how to organize your time, for sure. Time organization should be at the top, time management should be at the top of your list. The ugly side of tarot reading is, okay, I know it sounds horrible to say the ugly of tarot, but it's true. The tarot community can be both inspiring, amazing, and meet the greatest people like I have done, thankfully. But there can be also a lot of negative people in the tarot community, as there is with all communities. And, you know, there seems to be a lot of jealousy going on, a lot of I'm better, or it needs to be done this way, or your way's the wrong way. I tend to stay away from all them kind of environments. When I see somebody trying to, you know, kind of be bigger or better, I'm not sure what the word is, kind of stomping on people, I just stay away from them. That's not my vibe, so I stay away. But I can understand how newbie tarot readers, or those who are just getting into this environment, can suddenly find these negative people in the tarot industry and be really took back by them. You know, some of them can say, I read it on Facebook sometimes, even like I said, it's not my vibe, I try not to get involved, but sometimes I read the most nastiest replies, or, you know, some people answering in a really negative way, and I think, oh my God, that poor person, you know, has just asked a question and got basically verbally abused. So the industry of the tarot industry, the majority for me at least, the majority for me is absolutely amazing, very supportive, and I've made great friends. But there is those negative, those bad eggs like there is everywhere, that can be very, very hurtful. So you have to watch kind of what group you join, if it's on Facebook or even physically. You really have to watch what kind of people you allow into your energy field. The charlatans, there's so many charlatans out there. It really upsets me to see how people use fear to gain money. And that's the real ugly side of the tarot reading business. Those people that use fear for sales are just the worst kind of people, and they make us, the good tarot readers, the tarot readers that just want to run a business and help people and serve while earning a good income, it makes us really stick in that devaluation box that we saw earlier. You know, that's the reason we've still got the bad stigma and we've still got that bad name, because of the charlatans. I was recently messaged on my Instagram account. Again, I've kind of got a good vibe and I'm normally protected from a lot of this, but even still, those bad eggs are those bad eggs. And I was messaged a message basically saying, you've got really bad energy. So ignore that. If you don't have this spell where I can get rid of that bad energy, you're going to have really bad consequences. And this person went on to really kind of try and blackmail me. blackmail me into buying a spell to clean my energy, or something horrible was going to happen to me or my family. And that got me thinking not only how nasty that was, but how hurtful that could have been for somebody who wasn't me, somebody who didn't really care what this, I just blocked them. I think I sent them to my webpage or something. But somebody who wasn't me, how that could have really affected them. I mean, you can imagine some poor woman or some poor man who doesn't understand this field, and he gets that message, could have scared the life out of him. So those kind of people are really the ugly side of tarot. The other ugly side of the tarot industry is all the copying that goes on. The pirates in the tarot industry drive me nuts. It's not just the pirate on the tarot decks. There's so many pirates on the tarot decks. Any tarot deck that comes out, the pirates are on and buying them and selling them as their own and trying to, really make money. But also with books, but also with content. I mean, I can do a video on my Spanish YouTube channel, and like 3 days later, and loads of people have got the same video out. And some of them not only copy me videos, me titles, me words, but they even use my true stories in their videos as their own, which just blows my mind. It's like, oh my God, you've even used my story, what happened to me, as an example. So they're using my examples. The copying is just horrendous. I write something on my social media, and it's copied almost instantly. Like I said, it doesn't bother me as much, because it's like, whatever, it's not your vibe, it's going to really bite you in the butt. But at the same time, it can be very hurtful for other people. If you're running a business and you're putting a lot of effort into doing something, and you're really finding your own inspiration, your own ideas, and you're like, yeah, and then, within 24 hours, you're seeing other people saying your words, it can be upsetting. It doesn't bother me so much, but I always find them. I don't know why, but Spirit always bring to me the people that have copied me, always. I might never ever have known of a person, and all of a sudden I'll just stumble across something and go, wait a minute, that was me, I wrote that, and then I'll see it. So it's crazy. The other thing about this business is, apart from the charlatans who take dirty money and try and sell by fear, and the people that copy us and the jealousy, the other thing is the spiritual burnout. When we have that burnout, like I was talking earlier, sometimes it can really take us into a crisis. And I know tarot readers who have actually given up the tarot. So brilliant tarot readers who haven't understood their own time management. They might not have been able to fit it into their life. They may have tried to do way too much. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I think we all know the tarot reader who's just kind of really finding the feet in the tarot world, and then all of a sudden they're selling courses, and then they do this, and before you know it, you're thinking, oh my God, this person's doing 15 things, and you can see that burnout coming, and then all of a sudden everything's shut down. And that I see a lot. I see amazing tarot readers who go 110% and ending up then closing down the business or not picking up the cards again. And it's really, really sad, because it really just came from a place of wanting to do so much, but instead of having a long-term plan, starting to do it all now, and trying to do it all at once, and not having somebody there saying, why don't you just slow down, or why don't you focus on this, and then going to step 2, and then do it in the time when it's calling you. It's like a call. You kind of know when you're evolving as a tarot reader into doing something else, if you ever do. A lot of tarot readers do the same kind of career for years and years, and it works perfect for them. Some go on to write books, some go on to do courses, become teachers, etc. But it's a pull. It's like a pull at the right time. And when you try and just do it all, she's a coach, I'm going to do that. Oh, she does courses, I'm doing that. Oh, he does Reiki with this, I'm doing that. And he does this, I'm doing that. And you do it all, and it's not your moment, or it's not your thing. And then I see these amazing tarot readers that give up and say, no, I don't do it no more, or no, I only do it for friends now. No, I shut my business down, I'll do this now. And that to me is like the ugliest side, when because they didn't have that knowledge, or maybe because you know, they just got burnt out. But some of them go through really bad times. I mean, I've met some people who have been very, very ill because of it. The burnout has been horrific, really ill, like physically ill, like in the hospital ill, or, you know, just really, really ill. So just watch out for that if you're a tarot reader. Try not to go down that really bad road of burning yourself out, because it can get really ugly. So that's my bad, my good, and my ugly. Remember, the good really outweighs any of the bad and the ugly. There's amazing tarot readers in the world, and I think we do a really good job. I think the majority of us have got a brilliant energy going on, and we just help people, and we all have our little niche, we all have our little way of working. If you find you're in a more negative place right now, try and focus on the good. Really try and, you know, bring into your energy field the positive side of tarot, because there's a lot of good. Thank you very much for following this rather long video. If you like the video, hit like, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, share me around your social media, and let me know in the comments if there's any good, bad or ugly that I forgot about. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.